Good day everyone. Welcome to Now Math Learning, my YouTube channel. Today I will discuss all about the intercepts and zeros of rational functions. Here, I will teach you on how to get the intercepts and zeros both by step and the shortcut technique. Let us start first to the definition, then illustrative examples. I'll repeat the topic. It's all about the intercepts and zeros of rational functions. It's a step-by-step and shortcut process. Intercepts of rational function. The intercepts of the graph of a rational function are the points of intersection of its graph in an axis. Pag sinabi natin intercepts, it's a point that pass through the x-axis or the y-axis. The intercepts of the rational function, we have the y-intercept and the x-intercept. When we say y-intercept of the function is a point on the y-axis. Ito yung point na nasa y-axis. So, pag walang point na dumaan sa y-axis, meaning there is no y-intercept. Now, we have two ways on how to find for the y-intercept. First, so you simply evaluate the function when x is equal to 0. So, given yung x equals 0, solve for y. Whatever the value of y, that's the y-intercept. Or, just divide the constant terms in numerator and denominator. Pag sinabing constant, walang variable. Kukunin nyo lang yung constant sa numerator kasama yung sign over the constant term of the denominator. Take note, constant term of the denominator. When you divide it, that's already the y-intercept. Your y-intercept can be written in two ways, by means of an ordered pair or by means of an equation. For instance, when the y-intercept equals 3, so you can write it as y equals 3 as the y-intercept or coordinate 0, 3. The x-intercept of the function occurs at the zeros of the numerator that are not zeros of the denominator. Ang ibig sabihin, when we say x-intercept, it's the point on the x-axis. So, pag walang dumaan na graph doon sa x-axis, meaning walang x-intercept, paano makukuha ang x-intercept? There are two ways. First, so you substitute the value of y as 0. Okay? So, solve for the value of y, which is equal to 0. Let y equal 0, then solve for x. Okay, yan ang sinasabi natin x-intercept. But then, meron kayo ditong i-consider. Paano yon? You need to cancel first the common factor to numerator and denominator. Pag may common factor ang numerator and denominator, kailangan yung i-cancel. Isosolve lang po yung x ng numerator after na nag-cancel ng common factor. So, halimbawa, ang numerator, ang natira ay x plus 3. So, therefore, the value of x-intercept is negative 3. Why? Because yung x equals 3, x plus 3, equate mo sa 0, then transpose the constant term to the other side, maging x equals negative 3. Or, you can write the x-intercept as coordinate. We have the coordinate negative 3, 0. The shortcut of this is, tingnan nyo lang ang numerator. Pag na-cancel na ang common factor, walang variable ang numerator, meaning walang x-intercept. Pag may x ang numerator, meaning you need to solve for the value of x after you cancel the common factor. How about zeros of rational function? The zeros of the rational function are the values of x which make the function 0. Ang ibig sabihin nito, kung may x-intercept, meron din siyang zeros. Whatever the value of the x-intercept, yun din ang value ng zeros of the function. The x-intercept, take note, is also the zeros of the rational function. But then zeros, it's always written by means of an equation. Pero yung x-intercept, it can be written as a coordinate. So take note here, this is the x-intercept and at the same time is zero of the function. This is the y-intercept, that's on the y-axis. The zero and the x-intercept, that's on the x-axis. Let's proceed to our example. So I'll show you here two techniques, the shortcut and the step-by-step solution. Okay. Find the x-intercepts, the y-intercepts, and zeros of the given rational function. We have the given f of x equals 1 over x plus 2. So, ang shortcut nito, tingnan nyo. Sabi ko nga, ang first step ay dapat i-factor ang numerator and denominator. Since the given is already in lowest term, so wala siyang common factor, to get for the x-intercept, titingnan nyo lang ang numerator. Pag walang variable x, meaning no x-intercept. And pag walang x-intercept, wala din siyang 0. So, ang sagot na dito, no x-intercept, no zeros of the function. So, shortcut ang sinasabi ko ngayon. How about the y-intercept? To get for the y-intercept, the constant term of the numerator over the constant term of the denominator. We have 1 as numerator, we have 2 as denominator. So, therefore, y equals 1 over 2. That's the y-intercept. Pag y-intercept, y equals. Pag x-intercept, x equals. Pag zeros, x equals also. So for our y-intercept, we have y equals 1/2 or coordinate 0, 1/2. Take note, pag y-intercept, 0 ang x. Pag x-intercept, 0 ang y. Okay, we have here the step-by-step solution. First step is equate the function to 0 or just get the numerator which is 1 then equate to 0. So 1 over x plus 2 equals 0. Take note that the x-intercept is the value of x in the numerator but not in denominator. So therefore, yung numerator natin ay 1. Walang x. So therefore, no x-intercept. Hindi po maglagay ng coordinate na 0, 0. Ang ibig sabihin nun, may x-intercept siya pero 0. Pag walang x-intercept, dapat ilagay nyo, no x-intercept. Pag wala siyang x-intercept, wala din siyang 0 of the function. So, you have already two answers. No x-intercept and no 0 of the function. Now, how about for the y-intercept? Here, solve the function when x is equal to 0. Magsusubstitute kayo sa x as 0. At whatever the remaining, so that's the value of the y-intercept. So y equals 1 over 0 plus 2, so y equals 1/2. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, that's the y-intercept which is 1/2 or you can write it as coordinate 0, 1/2. Take note, ang shortcut ng pagkuha ng y-intercept ay kukunin lang sa numerator yung constant term over sa denominator yung constant term. So, y equals 1/2. Laging y equals, or by means of coordinate, ilagay lang sa y coordinate. Coordinate 0, 1/2. Malinaw na po? Okay, proceed tayo sa 0 of the function. I said, walang x-intercept, meaning wala din 0 of the function. Same po ang process on how to get for the 0 and x-intercept. The 0 is also the x-intercept of the rational function. So therefore, no 0 of the function because there is no variable x in the numerator. Let's proceed to example number 2. Find the x and the y-intercepts and zeros of the rational function given by x over x minus 3. Now, shortcut, there is a variable in the numerator, and that's already in lowest term. You cannot factor the denominator. You cannot factor the numerator. Take note that to solve for the x-intercept, so ang first step ko nga sabi ko, is to factor first the numerator and denominator. Pag may common factor, cancel the common factor. Yung remaining lang ang kukunin nyo. Tingnan sa numerator kung may variable x. Pag walang variable x, no x-intercept, no zeros. But in this case, may variable x sa numerator, equate mo lang sa 0. X equals 0, then solve for x. So x equals 0 is the x-intercept and the zeros of the function. The x-intercept can be written as ordered pair, so we have coordinate 0, 0. Then for the y-intercept, get the constant of the numerator. There is no constant term in the numerator. It's a variable. It's a term with variable. So, ang constant term dito yung plus 0. So, 0 ang kukunin. Take note, pag walang constant term sa numerator, it's automatic that the y-intercept is 0. Pag nasa denominator lang ang constant, walang constant sa numerator. So, it means the y-intercept is 0. Pero kung baliktad, may constant term sa numerator, walang constant term sa denominator, meaning no y-intercept. Tandaan po yun ha. Pag sa denominator walang constant, walang y-intercept. Pag ang numerator walang constant, meaning that the y-intercept is 0. Kasi wala. So 0 over negative 3 is 0. So y equals 0 is the y-intercept or coordinate 0, 0. We have here the solution on how to get for the x-intercept. So we have x over x minus 3. Get the numerator, x, equate it to 0, then solve for x. So that's the x-intercept. The x-intercept is the value of x in the numerator, but not in the denominator. So that's our x-intercept, which is equal to 0, or coordinate 0, 0. For the y-intercept, we have solved the function when x is equal to 0. So we have x became 0 over 0 minus 3. So therefore, y equals 0. Or yung technique ko nga, yung numerator, get the constant term of the numerator, which is 0 over negative 3 is 0. So therefore, the y-intercept is 0 or coordinate 0, 0. Ganito ang pagsulata, y-intercept equals 0 or coordinate 0, 0. For the zero of the function, same as for the x-intercept. So kahit hindi na kayo mag-solve for the zero of the function, because whatever the x-intercept, that's the zero of the function. So x equals 0 is the zero of the function. Zero of the function is 0 or x equals 0. Example, another example. Find the x and y-intercepts and zeros of the rational function given by f of x equals x squared minus 3x minus 4 all over x plus 1. Sabi ko nga, ang first step, you factor first kung factorable. Pag hindi, ang ibig sabihin, equate mo na yung numerator to 0 and solve for x. Yun na po ang value ng x-intercepts and zeros. While yung y-intercept as I just divide the constant term of the numerator to denominator. Then, lagyan nyo lang ng y equals. Y equals negative 4 over positive 1. That's the y-intercept. Therefore, y equals negative 4. Okay. Tingnan natin yung long method, step by step. To solve for the x-intercept, we have the given. Then, you factor first the numerator, baka may common factor. So, in this case, tingnan nyo, factorable by quadratic trinomial where a is equal to 1. This is factoring technique number 5. So, x plus 1 times x minus 4 over x plus 1. You cancel first the common factor at kung ano ang natira sa numerator and denominator, yun na po ang babasihan natin ng pagkuha ng x-intercept. So, ano yung numerator natin na natira? X minus 4. Equate mo lang sa 0. So, x minus 4 equals 0. So, x equals 4. That's already the x-intercept. X-intercept is equal to 4 or coordinate 4, 0. And this is also the 0 of the function. 0 of the function is 4 or x equals 4. Now, how about for the Y-intercept? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, ang Y-intercept, ito ng constant term sa numerator, negative 4 over positive 1. Y equals negative 4, that's the Y-intercept. But then, what is the step by step? So, itong 0 of the function, the same, yung sa X-intercept. Ini-equate yung common factor at yung natira na numerator, yun ang basehan ng X-intercept. Kung may X, solve for X. Kung walang X, no 0 or no X-intercept. So we have the 0 of the function is 4 or X equals 4. And the Y-intercept is solve the function when X is 0, lagyan lahat ng 0. Tingnan nyo. Pag nilagyan ng 0 itong x squared, makancel kang x squared, makancel ng negative 3x, makancel ng x sa baba. Ano ang natira? Negative 4 over positive 1. So, di ba? Yun ang shortcut. No need to substitute. When you can apply the shortcut, you do it. Y equals negative 4. That's the Y-intercept. Or coordinate 0, negative 4. Thank you! Please watch for my next video on asymptotes of rational function. Please don't forget to click subscribe to my YouTube channel and click also the like button. Thank you so much and have a good day.